Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our FC 26 career mode here with Burnley. We are back today with the final episode of Season 4 as we are going to play out both the FA Cup and Europa League finals today, taking on Arsenal at Wembley in the Domestic Cup final and of course taking on Feyenoord in the Europa League final, as we look to win a very unlikely treble of the League Cup, FA Cup and Europa League this season. Now you will be seeing this as the season finale, but actually I'm halfway through recording the previous episode as we've actually got our two final league games still to come. So you guys will have already seen that, but hey, I'm a time traveller and yeah, you'll be seeing this in slightly different orders. But anyway, FA Cup final against Arsenal as we look to win both domestic cups that are available to us this season after beating Liverpool in the League Cup final earlier on in the campaign. So let's jump into it. First game of today's episode, Arsenal at Wembley. Come on you Clarets. Yep, like the League Cup final against Liverpool, I've made some changes. It's a pretty rotated side. It's still strong, don't get me wrong, and I have got a few starters out there, the likes of Jackson and Juve at left back, Florentino in midfield, but I've made a lot of changes, and again, I quite like having the domestic cups as a bit of a side quest for the backup boys, as Banzuzi. Oh, I couldn't quite pick out Zeki in the middle, but we managed to defeat Liverpool here with a completely rotated side. So why can't we do it again with the backup brigade taking centre stage? We're also playing on 5-minute halves again, like in the League Cup final. So yeah, I'm pretty confident that we can get the job done today. Well, opening 25 minutes has been and gone. Pretty quiet so far, but I don't mind that, as that's a dangerous ball into Ezekiel. Just trying to force it, man. We know those wide areas are where we can get at this Arsenal team. We just got to be patient and wait for our openings, as again I've given the ball away. Just trying to force things a little bit, as Rice will find Martinelli. Now the Spaniard Zubamendi into Odegaard in a pocket of space. Saka into Martinez. Bit of danger here. Ball played to Odegaard on the edge of the box. Martinelli shoots and Martinez on the rebound from a tight angle fires into the side netting. Yeah, into the second half here. Still deadlocked and scoreless. And I'd say in the League Cup final against Liverpool, we had actually created a lot more chances. This has been very tight and cagey, and the main real chance of the half fell to Arsenal, as that's into Martin Odegaard. Oh, and Bashir Humphries did brilliantly well. It's still not clear. Martinelli dispossessed, and again we will get it clear, but the backup brigade are just so resilient, man. So good at the back. Zeki finds Florentino again. We've just got to be patient and wait for our chances, as that's into Banzuzi. Oh, he gets the finish all wrong. And there is our big opportunity here at Wembley. Comes just after the restart, and really Ezekiel should have done a lot better with that. Now Gabriel Martinelli up against Jackson. Cross comes in. Bashir Humphries there again. He has been absolutely monumental at the back, as Odegaard onto his right foot. Now Zubamendi. Oh, it's lovely football, and Max Weiss with a brilliant stop to deny Martin Odegaard the chance, as Florentino. That's actually a really helpful ball for Jackson. And now Peck. Back to Zeki. Sanchez comes across. Back to Gabriel Peck. Can he finish? Oh, it's a big save by Ayala. Odegaard. Oh, that's a nice ball. We're in a bit of trouble here. Lautaro. Odegaard. Arsenal quickening up the pace. Declan Rice. Martinelli. Nice football from the Gunners. There's Odegaard, and he's not going to miss that one. Denied by Max Weiss a few moments ago, but this time Arsenal have the breakthrough. It's Martin Odegaard with the goal, and it has been coming as well. Arsenal have been the better side, and have probably just about edged it. We've got just over 20 minutes left to play, but Arsenal look set to lift the FA Cup trophy once again. Mari finds Jackson wide right. Body's ahead of him. That's nice. Into Zeki and back to Jackson. And there's Amari Hutchinson. Takes his time. Amari, oh, what a save, Ayala. And he's got a great record against his former team. Rice did well to hold him up, to be fair, but he just couldn't quite find the opening as the corner is into Banzuzi, and that regen Sanchez has just won everything today. Yeah, I think this might do it. We need to get that ball back. Arsenal looking for a second. Martinelli swings across in. Ben Ball does well, but it'll drop for Ekitike, and Ødegaard will seal it for the Gunners. And they've probably just about edged it today. Yes, you could look at this and say, well, you know, I picked a weakened side. I could have gone full strength and maybe we would have had a better chance. But I trust in giving the players that got us here a chance in the final. And I don't think it would have been fair on the players that have played every round, the likes of Ben Ball, the likes of Vice, the likes of Bashir Humphreys, to then drop them and bring in our starters. And we had our moments today. We just couldn't quite find a way through that Arsenal backline. That's just the way it is sometimes. And the Gunners, who've got so much more experience than us in these sorts of situations, will be lifting the FA Cup trophy here at Wembley. Yeah, maybe if you wanted to, you could point the finger at yours truly and say, well, you picked a rotated side, you didn't go full strength, but it was a really close game, to be fair, and we did have our chances. I'd say Arsenal had the better of it, but we definitely could have potentially nicked it. And Gabriel will lift the trophy for the Gunners, wearing the armband over Martin Ødegaard, who got the 2 goals. But the Norwegian was the difference maker. And as I say, until that first goal went in, it could have been anybody's final. If we'd scored the first goal, I think we probably would have gone on to win it. It was one of those games where it was just so tight. But Arsenal will win it, and they will be your FA Cup winners this season. Well, 1 down, 1 to go. And we're just going to dive straight into our next game. It is the Europa League final against Feyenoord. I'll need to double check where the game is being played, but I have to say I do think we will be favourites for this one. Feyenoord got some decent players, but I definitely think we will be favourites for it. So jumping into this one, Feyenoord in the Europa League final. The treble is gone, but we've still got a chance at a European and Cup double. Let's see if we can get it done here. I don't want to lose both finals today. Come on, you Clarets. Yeah, you will have seen from my lineup again today, I've stuck with a lot of the boys that have got us here, but it is a slightly stronger team with the skipper Maxime Stev coming in. We're almost at our strongest back four. We've still got Florentino in the heart of midfield. We've got Amari Hutchinson starting. So yeah, it's a much stronger team, and part of the selection in the FA Cup final was because this final comes 3 days after the game against Arsenal. So I had to take that into consideration, as well as Damien Burke lets fly early on and forces an early save out of the Feyenoord keeper. But yeah, I'm definitely much more focused, on winning this European final than I was the FA Cup final, after we already clinched the League Cup earlier on in the season. And this has been a strong start here from the Clarets. And Jackson across the box for Amari, who gets there before the keeper and does open the scoring. We've been on the front foot from minute 1, and he is the difference maker in this squad. Back from that 7-month injury, and in the short period of time he's been back with us, he has made a massive difference. What a start in the Europa League final, and this would be a huge trophy, our first ever European honour, and we're on. Feyenoord will get us underway in this second period. Still leading by 1, and it wasn't until the second half in that FA Cup final until the game really opened up. And I think it could be a similar story here today, with us knowing that Feyenoord have to start committing some bodies forward, and that could leave us chances to break like this with Juve. Gonna need a teammate, but Juve does well. There's Amari Hutchinson! His second goal of the evening. And Amari single-handedly looks like he may have won us the Europa League trophy in Season 4 of the Save. He scored early goals in the first and second half, and I think that one could be the goal that secures us the trophy here in Turkey. Massive goal as he bends it around the defender. Keeper can't get there, and right in front of those Burnley fans, we could be celebrating our first ever European honour. Feyenoord coming forward here. Oh, what a goal. What a goal. And, well, I was quite quiet then. Apologies, guys. But I wasn't expecting him to burst through like that. Wonderful goal. And game on again, as we see that on the replay. Just bursts between Esteve and Juve and fires it past James Trafford. And Florentino will fire it out to Juve. Now Jadon. Oh, lovely football. Damien Burke, the youngster, restores the 2-goal cushion. And what a moment for the teenage talent here at Burnley. Damien Burke has had a fantastic campaign in the Europa League, and he scored a goal in the final that looks to have potentially now secured it for Burnley. Wonderful strike, and this kid is a real talent. Well, Feyenoord still pressing here as we're into stoppage time. And Amari Hutchinson, can he get away? Maybe a chance for the hat-trick. Defender right on his heels. Lovely skill. Amari, oh, that is wonderful. And he deserves that as well. He has been absolutely phenomenal today. A hat-trick in the final, and what a goal to seal off the victory as well. Keeper at full stretch, can't get there. He's nowhere near it. And what a win for Burnley here in Turkey against the Dutch side Feyenoord. But Amari Hutchinson, man of the match performance tonight. He was absolutely phenomenal. And finally, after being on the bench in 2 cup finals, Maxime Esteve will have the opportunity to get his hands on some silverware as Burnley captain. A really solid display at the back as well. Yes, we didn't keep the clean sheet, but we did control things here today, and I did feel confident heading into this one. Our first ever European honour, and as things stand, we will be heading into the Champions League for next season. Well, not as things stand, we definitely will be after lifting the Europa League trophy, but as I say, Maxime Esteve will have the opportunity to lift it after being on the bench in both the League Cup and FA Cup finals. Finally, the Frenchman has his moment, and Burnley are your Europa League winners this season. Well, guys, as we get back to the menus, we are all up to date now in terms of the timelines. All the games have been played. You've seen them in a slightly different order, but trust me, there was method to my madness. But Europa League champions defeating Feyenoord in the final. Of course, we did lose the FA Cup final to Arsenal. But yeah, now all the Premier League games have been played. Here is a full look at the table once again, where you will see we finished runners-up to Liverpool in second place. I've literally only just recorded the last 2 games, but of course you would have seen them in the previous episode. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just have a quick little look around the save at the other competitions, starting with the Conference League, where AS Roma defeated Sporting in the final, winning the Conference League by 2-0. Obviously, the Europa League, we already know that we were winners. A quick little look at our route to the final once again. The quarters and semis in particular were absolutely crazy. And then the final, as I thought it could potentially be, was quite straightforward for us. And yeah, Zeki Amdouni, 8 assists in this competition. I was a bit harsh on him at the start of the campaign, but he did really, really well. And James Trafford with 6 clean sheets as well. But yeah, really good campaign for Burnley in the Europa League. As for the Champions League, which of course we will be playing in next season, here is a quick look at the top 8. Going to be a real tough ask to make it through in the top 8. But as we head into, let's head to the quarterfinals. Some big clashes in here. Man City knocking out Bayern Munich, Real Madrid knocking out Liverpool, Barca defeating Inter, and Arsenal knocking out PSG. And in the semis, we went on to, it wasn't an El Clasico final, and it wasn't an All-England final. It was Arsenal against Real Madrid, and the Galacticos have done it again. They are just so difficult to stop, man. In FC 26, it just feels like they get to the final every single year, and it's another Champions League trophy for Madrid. And guys, a very quick look around the other leagues as Manchester United and Sunderland returning back to the top flight. The playoffs were contested between West Ham, Leicester, Coventry and Birmingham City. And heading up to the Premier League is going to be, oh, it's not been played yet. Let's sim through and find out who's coming up, because that's quite fun. Coventry or Birmingham, 2 really interesting sides. I don't really know who I'd like to see. Obviously, as a Chelsea fan, I've got a soft spot for Frank Lampard, but it would be quite cool to see Birmingham in the Premier League. And for next year, we're going to be joined in the Premier League by Coventry City. Okay, interesting. And guys, I'm going to run through the top 5 leagues very quickly as PSG win the Ligue 1 title once again. Just a point clear of Marseille, but it is AS Monaco who get their hands on the Coupe de France this year. Well, since Bayern Munich sacked Vincent Kompany, they've not done too well in the save, and it's Dortmund, a point clear of Frankfurt, who win the Bundesliga title, and Leverkusen, who finished in 3rd, do get their hands on the DFB Pokal, beating Leipzig in a thriller in the final. In Italy, it was Inter Milan and AC Milan at the top of the table, but it was the former Inter who won it 3 points clear of their big rivals. And Napoli won the Coppa Italia despite having a poor league campaign, finishing in 8th place. And well, how about this in Spain? Very close title race, but Atletico Madrid did pip Real Madrid to the title, 2 points clear. And Barcelona, in 3rd, 3 points off the eventual winners, Atletico Madrid. But I love the Copa del Rey standings. It was a Real Betis Villarreal final where the Yellow Submarine did win it by 1-0. But both Barcelona and Real Madrid knocked out by FC Andorra in the Copa del Rey. What a historic season for Andorra. And yeah, guys, I don't want to spend too long going through the squad hub, so I am going to scroll through this pretty quickly. If you do want to stop and take a look at any individual players' stats, then please feel free to do so. But what I actually want to discuss as we close out the episode is sort of our plans for next season. Obviously, with us heading into the Champions League, I definitely think we're going to need some investment in the squad, and I did discuss it previously a couple of episodes ago, I think it was. I don't really want to sell anyone, even the more sort of squad players who don't feature as much that I could look to shift on. I don't really want to sell them, so I think I'm probably just going to have quite a big squad for next season, but I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. But I do think we need to bring in some real star quality, Champions League quality players if we are to compete in on all 4 fronts again next season. And the main sort of thing that we've got to suss out for me is what's going to happen at centre-back next year. Bielan has stopped growing now and didn't feature as much as the likes of Estev. I've seen a few comments saying to turn Florentino into a centre-back and bring in a new midfielder, which I think is probably my main sort of target for next year. But I'm also tempted just to chuck Ben Bull in as our main starting defender next year, and hopefully that will help with his development, because he did really well in the games that he played this year. 5 clean sheets in 6 in the FA Cup, 5 in 6 in the League Cup, and 5 in 15 in the league as well. Only 1 in 7 in the Premier League, but I'm very tempted just to chuck Ben Bull in and yeah, just sort of help his development and see how he gets on. But I'm also tempted, as I say, with the idea of turning Florentino into a centre-back, because he can play there and did do so at times this season. At 29 years of age, we know he's not the quickest. He's still, of course, got the legs to play in midfield. He's not Casemiro yet, but I do think he could make a very, very strong centre-back. So that is something I'm considering. And then we bring in a new world-class midfielder in the summer. And then maybe we split the game time between Florentino and Ben Bull. Because as much as I love Beelan, he's not world-class. He's not the best centre-back in the league. So I would be quite happy to potentially sort of phase him out and give Bull and Florentino the game time at centre-back. And if that's not working, we can then, of course, bring Tommy Beelan back in. But that's sort of a big concern for me, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I guess it will depend what happens in the summer. But I'm really happy with the squad. Even the squad players like Illing Jr., who featured more at fullback for us this year, but 5 goals and 6 assists is a really solid campaign. 25 years of age, and he featured in 57 games this season. So, you know, a really solid kind of all-rounder squad player to have. The likes of Banzuzi as well, who was signed in January more as a squad player, but ended up being really important for us and featured in 34 games after only signing in January. So going to be interesting to see how we deal with a big squad. And the likes of Benzai as well had a brilliant season out on loan at Coventry, developing really nicely. I'd like to get him some game time, but I'm just not sure where he's really going to fit in. So do we loan him out again, or do we keep him and maybe give him the odd game here and there, play him in the cups? I'm not too sure. But again, the likes of Rudoni, who didn't really feature from the off too much, but 9 goals and 9 assists in all competitions is a pretty good return. He's not developing any further, he's not getting any better, but I would quite like to keep him at the club. I don't really want to sell him. I've got attachment issues with everyone at the club at the moment. So yeah, I'm not really too sure. Again, with Hannibal, he's stopped growing. Is he going to get much better? I'm not sure. But 15 assists in all competitions and 8 goals to go with it. A lot of those coming at the start of the campaign. But could we upgrade him? Yes. Will we have the money? Probably yes. But I mean, on paper, Hannibal's so important in this team. I don't know if I really need to go out and spend a lot of money on a replacement. So yeah, I'm not sure what my plans are in the summer. We've obviously got Damien Burke as well, who's had a fantastic debut season. What was it? 9 goals and 5 assists in all competitions. So I don't want to stunt his growth by potentially bringing in a new starting attacking mid as well. So yeah, we've got some decisions to make. I want to bring in some quality, but I'm also really happy with the squad. You've got to remember, we finished 2nd in the league this season. We won a Carabao Cup and a Europa League, and also reached the final of the FA Cup. So realistically, is there much more that we need to do with this squad? I don't really think so. And with Amari Hutchinson hopefully staying fit for the whole of next season, we'll have our star man back. So yeah, I'm not sure, guys. We've got some good players coming back from their loan spells as well. We've got a lot of youngsters out on loan who will be coming back. So it's a difficult one. Again, with Jorgen, he is still growing very slowly, but at 29, how much better is Jorgen going to get? I'm not too sure, but again, can you drop him with 39 goals in the last 2 seasons? Got 13 assists this year. and was the second top creator in the league. Do I need to replace him? Why am I even thinking about replacing him? I don't know, man. I've got quite a lot to think about over the summer. But honestly, there's every chance we don't do that much business because I'm happy with the squad. Again, Zeki's a great backup. So I'm not sure there's going to be a huge amount of movement. We will probably offer quite a lot of contracts out to the youngsters. Florentino will hopefully sign a new contract as well. But as for Hakan, he might leave. Cullen, I'm hoping, is going to retire. And again, a lot of the contracts will be going to the youngsters. And maybe Amari Hutchinson as well, with just 2 years left on his deal. But lots to consider as we head into next season. But that will do it for today's episode, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the end of Season 4. Europa League winners today, Carabao Cup winners a couple of episodes ago, and we gave it a really good run in the FA Cup, mostly with a backup side, and also in the Premier League as well. But we'll be back in the next episode to head into the summer transfer window, Season 5 of The Save, where I do think a little bit of star quality added into the mix will put us in contention to compete once again at the top of the Premier League. So I'll catch you for the next one very soon, guys. Take care and peace.